All right, you guys, welcome to another one of our podcasts. Today, I'm going to go into a couple of things that have to do with the Albany Remand. So we've talked about that yesterday. We happened to come across some content that related to Judge Kavanaugh. And I want to go over some things that kind of show you guys where I come from, and you guys can get a better synopsis and idea of exactly what that is. So let me go to, I'm going to go to display something here. I'm going to show you guys. It's not a video file. I had this up earlier, but it was such a pain in the butt. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm a little bit after, like, I'm like a few minutes after my normal time, but I've got like 70 hours in the last 4 days. And my mind is a little bit scattered, and so I'm just like managing with what I've got. So just know that I will catch up whatever is not current right now, and I'll get to those things, but it's going to take me some time. Sometimes I wonder, like, there's a lot of work that goes behind this, and I have help, but the help is really never enough. I mean, trying to get people to understand and comprehend this is really hard. And there was a time where I had 17 people that were working with me in this adventure. And well, it was just a journey of discovery. Let's just say that. To say the very least, it was a journey of discovery. And as a result, well, here I am today. So you guys need to know kind of where I come from, because I'm going to show you why the common law doesn't work. I'm going to show you why. Let me fix this here. I'm going to show you why the common law does not work, because the common law is not current right now. Okay. It's current, but it's not effective because of emergency powers. And people can say, well, no Constitution can do that, emergency powers. But yes, it's not under the common law as such, because it's under a trust, and you can't even know about that. And if you don't know about it, then how are you ever going to know about it? And that's really what it comes down to. So let's go to share screen. I'm going to share with you guys, because sharing is caring. I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to show you this here. Okay. So this was one of the documents. This is document 39 that was done in the it was in Colorado, but it had to do with a case in Albany, or in a case in El Paso County, Colorado, and a case in Larimer County, Colorado. Okay. See, these people wanted me bad, really, really bad. Okay. This is, for those of you guys that know, I actually served a prison term for this particular case, and you're going to see exactly why I was very adamant in what I was doing, and why I was adamant in my actions. Okay. Why I was very persistent. And this is something that I'm going to do something with. I just don't want you, I don't want you guys to think like, well, this is futile. It's not futile. This is an amazing thing that actually really becomes something equitable. And that's all that's happened, is the equities between the parties have not been balanced. Okay. So you guys can see a couple of things I'll show you here right off the bat. You can see the stamps right here. You see those stamps? Those are canceled stamps. The name is Patrick Neal, and it was a forever stamp, a $1. It's a $1 stamp and a forever stamp. Okay. So there's controversy over whatever, what's what, but I'll tell you how it works. Is lawful money, a denomination of a stamp is always a fixed denomination of a stamp. Anything that is like a forever something is not a denomination. So it counts for something, but not a denomination. So it was just to get it over a certain period, a certain point, just to get it over $1 is all I really wanted. So, it made the point, and it basically paid a tax on the document. That's all it is. So this came from an original that I cited. I originally cited Doc 30 in this particular case right here. So the case is 18 MC7, and it's Henry David Merrill. That's the name of it. David Merrill was a guy that that mentored me. Well, mentored me right into prison. No, I'm just kidding. He mentored me for quite a while, and I'm grateful for the lot. He taught me so much, and I've shared a lot of what I've learned from him with you guys. Some of that stuff David Merrill taught me, so I owe that to him, and I'm grateful. The this particular thing was an example of racketeering. Now, here's the deal. I had one of the best accounts of what anybody could have because I was cross filing this into a federal court in Albany, New York. Okay, you can see right here, Northern District of District Court for the District New York, Albany. Okay, but it was going in as a common law claim in a miscellaneous. It wasn't a record. It wasn't a record like they were thinking. Okay, so this is my demand for lawful money. Again, this is a record that's still out there. This I just downloaded these today off of pacer.gov. So this is a request. Please file and publish the refusal for cause on a bondsman for billing for $7,500. So what happened was this bondsman was privy to things that were going on and things that were happening and wasn't telling me. And I was calling him out the whole entire time, and he still was not responding. So I'm going to explain this to you, explain exactly what happened. Dennis Backwell is a bail bondsman in the state of Colorado, a very, very corrupt one. And I started doing more research on this guy, and I found that he has, well, let's just say there's hearsay out there. And I'm not firsthand, and thank God I'm not firsthand. I'm telling you right now, thank God I'm not firsthand. But somebody contacted the bondsman. There's a message out there. You guys can go get it yourself. Look for it. I'm not going to post it on my page, but there's a place where he went and someone said that they needed his help, and he said that, well, they couldn't afford to pay all of it, so they said that someone's girlfriend could make up for the difference or something like that. I don't know. I'm not any part of this, guys. Okay. I'm like, I have nothing to do with this, but I want you guys to know that, that is something that is, an allegation that's out there. And those things I would take very serious, especially, it's not just one, it's like multiple. And then my dealing with this guy, no doubt about it. Like, they're all in bed with everybody else. Like, it's just a good old boy club. So an additional billing is refused for cause. Now, this is a statutory act, a refuse for cause, and the original presentment is mailed. So we sent out the original presentment, which was the ticket, right? And we published it on Pacer. We sent it registered mail, sent a U.S. governor of the IMF, Stephen Mnuchin, the original clerk instruction mailed to the district court in Albany with a copy of the presentment refused for cause, and copies will be mailed to additional parties, and including the Department of Regulatory Acts as shown below. Okay. So here in Doc 30, page 8 of 40, is already demonstrated a true bill on the bondsman, granting the benefit of doubt of fearful suppression on bondsman to contact the clerk, altering the bond extension by juxtaposition of the case numbers between districts. Okay, let me explain what these guys did. They created a bond for one case. They gave me the bond for one case, and they had two bonds on two different cases. Okay, this is when I'm learning and fast forward going through this stuff, guys. Like some of you are learning now. I understand what some of you are going through. Okay, they took the bond on the case, and the case number on one bond was put into another court in another district for another bond. It was totally different. It was another jurisdiction's bond in their court, and they accepted it, and I didn't accept it. I wasn't okay with that. That's fraud. That is fraud. They're changing things up in the accounting and without telling me, and they're thinking I'm just gonna miss it. And so the Department of Regulatory Agencies. So here in at Doc 30, page 8 of 40. It is already demonstrated a true bill of the bondsman to call the clerk for altering the bond extension by juxtaposition of the case numbers between districts. Let me show you guys what that means. Okay. The Okay, you guys see right here. I'm just going to highlight this. You see this right here? Oh, I can do that. Okay. That says 18 CR 315. Okay. This right here is District Court, El Paso County. Okay. So the 18 CR 315 was written in there. Now look right here. See this case number? 17 CR 6545. All right. Now, this is the case number. This is the district. All right. This was taken to Larimer County Court, and the clerk got it and took and wrote the case number on it and filed it into the court. I mean, they just filed it into the court like, oh, this is the way we do it. So when I saw this, I was like, wait a second. Okay, wait, that's not okay. I just, like, at this point in time, folks, I'm telling you, and I know a lot of you guys can relate and gals can relate, that when we're going through this situation, it's, you know, we don't know what's happening. I mean, like, we're struggling and we are in a fight or flight mode many times, which causes problems. So we don't react. We don't think about things when we do that. Okay. So this is Dennis Blackwell here is the one that did the reinstatement. Okay. But I want you guys to see, anybody should empathize for a moment just to see how difficult it is to correct or rectify this style of corruption, as it is obviously being executed by the clerk of court with the objective of having Patrick Neal arrested on the subsequent warrant. You see what they were doing, folks? They were setting up an opportunity later on that I didn't know about that would just happen, and it would create more accounting. See, that's just the way the military jurisdiction works that way. It's like, this is the way it has to spit out. It has to go through these steps. And it's not, I mean, we say it's wrong. We say it's wrong because we don't know about it. But what about, I want to ask you this, like, what about those of you who maybe have had some kind of health ailment and you did something naturally and fixed it? You know, I mean, that's a real thing that happens. I mean, that there are still some things, I say that extremely sarcastically. There are some things that, you know, we will find that, well, you'll find that in time, you just learn that everything you started with is what you end up with, and nature has a cure for everything. Nature is the cure because nature created everything that exists from the beginning to the end, even the bad. Like, it is what it is. They've got good and bad that work on both sides. So anyway, I'm going to stop preaching about that. So anyway, the timing was tampered with so that warrants have indeed been issued, leading to another perfect example of racketeering in the state of Colorado. And this was sent, my father used to live at this address here. And so they wrote me up on September 21st of 2018 for failure to appear, bond, ordered, forfeited. And then they forfeited my bond for me. Isn't that nice of them? These people are, like, they're so thoughtful. You know, who would have thought? Like, I would have never known to go and forfeit my own bond. So I'm super grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Julie Kunzfield, the private lady, I commend you because you're very smart in your ways, and you are a forked tongue devil. I love it. We see before the court of record that a billing has been issued for $7,500 right here, and is herein refused for cause. One must compare and contrast this to the $50,000 and $3,000 bonds issued from the 4th District case. So this was another thing. See, folks, when I was struggling through this to find answers, and I've given this story before because I used to go to Library 21C in Colorado Springs, and I would spend much of my time researching in their library, and I would walk into the library, and I had a breakdown one day it was at a I kid you not, this is not, I would never make this up. I got back from a long day. I left at 5:30 in the morning, between 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning from Colorado Springs to go to Fort Collins, Colorado, which was it was about an about an hour from Springs to Colorado to Denver, and then from Denver to Fort Collins, it was about another hour. So a couple of hours. As you guys know, before, those days leading up, before you have these, what you believe are your obligations and your responsibilities, like to go to these court proceedings, I knew in my heart something was not right. It just nothing felt right about any of this. And I could feel it, and with every ounce of my being, and I could not get anyone to listen to me. Like, no one had any empathy for me. Now a lot of people have empathy because they're in the same boat. You see, people don't relate to this stuff until it starts affecting them. And unfortunately, this has affected me all of my life, which is why I have remained vigilant in my work and vigilant in the direction that I'm going with all of this stuff. Whether, people get where I've been or not, it's not relevant. You know what I mean? Like, people say, well, you're, like, some people think I'm not a nice guy. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't, I can't get everybody's peace in their mind. Okay. I'm not the guy that fixes everybody's peace in their mind. What I can do is do the best that I can to be honorable to you guys and to everybody that I work with, and to, like, show you what got me in the situation and show you how I got out of where I was, because that's all it is. It's a way that someone taught you how to do things, and it was not a way that was productive for what you have. Let's imagine you're a car, okay? You're in Pixar films, and let's say you're Mater. You're Mater, okay? You're Tow Mater, all right? So as Tow Mater, you come into this other group of cars. And this other group of cars, well, you don't relate to them very well. They're just a different type of cars. And you don't know why, but they've got the quietest motors ever. And so you just can't relate. You just know that something isn't right. And finally, one day, one of them breaks down. And you realize when you go to work on it that, well, Tow Mater has a gas motor. And them over yonder, those strangers over there that aren't running right, well, they're those, let's call them electromagnetic frequency mobiles. How about those? Electromagnetic frequency mobiles. Yeah, it will give you a buzz. You'll stay buzzed. Okay? So if you're looking for a buzz, then I guess Tesla is your guy. So I'm kidding, but you guys should really look into the electromagnetic fields inside those cars, because people are getting cooked in them every time they drive them. But let's get back to the story. So Tow Mater realizes that he isn't one of those electric cars, and that's why. Because here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. Okay, this is what it comes down to. Electric cars plug up to electric outlets, and electricity comes from somewhere, and it requires that somebody has a toll on that electricity. They control it. And it could be for the gas too, but just for the sake of example, let's pretend that gas is abundant in nature. It's just a natural resource, right? Petroleum, I guess. Imagine that. And the things, you guys, if you really want to, like, as far as debating scientific things, you really need to go and look up what they have to dig up to make a battery. Those batteries, like, it's painted really, really nice, but the resources that they have to dig up, they dig up huge holes in the ground to get a little piece of something to create a battery out of it, and that's crazy. So, yeah, it's just nuts. So, anyways, so there was a $50,000 bond on this particular case. So here's what happened. I walked into a court hearing one day that I was scheduled for, and it was being honorable. I was trying to take care of all my affairs. I really, really had good intentions. And after I had this breakdown at a Bass Pro Shops. I spoke with my mom. Like my mom died in 2008, but I had a conversation with her very, very long and deep, and it was very intense. And after that, I woke up the next day and I drove up to this 2 hours to this hearing, and I spent the whole day in this hearing where I knew that all of these people were serpents. They were just, the vibe was not right. I walked in. I'm not kidding you, folks. This is exactly the way it happened. After I started putting documents into the case that were like peeling back the what was really happening, I was starting to learn and I was starting to assert what was happening. And I was doing it tactfully because I didn't want anybody to I wasn't going, you're a fraud. I wasn't doing that. I was trying to present things that I knew so that they knew that I knew, so that it would stop. That's all I wanted it to do, is just stop. And it wouldn't stop. It never did. And one time I showed up for a court hearing I was scheduled for, and I had my dog with me, okay? Like, I was not living in a home. I didn't have a home. I had a truck. And my dog and I were literally living in the mountains, going between these court hearings while I was here, because I was trying to save my money so that I could have the money to go research all this stuff to fight it. I needed copies. I needed, all this stuff got expensive. So I went into this court hearing. My dog was in the truck, and I thought it would be maybe an hour and she would be good. And that was when I had Missy. It was a different dog than I have now. But I walked in, and I was accused of, the week before, you guys got to know this, the week before I called in and I said, can you guys send me a copy of a document to this particular address? And I gave them an Arizona address. That's where I had lived many, many years before that. And so I wanted a copy sent to that address where the mail was being received. And it wasn't, it wasn't that I lived there. I didn't live there. But what they did was they changed the record, and then they made a record that I moved out of the state without notifying them, and they didn't send me a notice of it. And so I never got the record that they made. So they created a trustee in breach of fiduciary duties because I had signed a bond release agreement when I showed up for this court hearing. Nothing had happened. Nothing bad had happened. Nothing changed or anything. They just made up this thing. And when I walked in, they arrested me, immediately arrested me, and would not show me anything, why they arrested me or any sort of the fashion. They wouldn't explain anything. They put handcuffs on me and took me right in and booked me, and they put a $50,000 bond on my head. And so I looked up and researched that, and there is no such thing. There's child molesters in the state of Colorado that have a $50,000 bond. And I had done nothing but change an address that, well, it was just having them, not even changing an address. I just told them, this is the best place for me to see the mail that you send, because I was having someone scan it and I could see all of it by, a certain method. And well, that, you see where that went. So, so this actually ended up, I have a habeas corpus that is filed in the Budapest, Hungary, the World Court. So it's the oldest court that exists. It's a habeas corpus. It still exists to this day. And I had filed many other habeas corpuses while I was in there, but there's a difference between the habeas corpus, okay? So you guys got to know. Here's the deal. The $50,000 bond was issued as threatening and punitive measures to paralyze and impair me in my defense, because I was really doing some good stuff that was supporting what I was doing. It was really, it was probably irritating them, all right? Therefore, DORA, Department of Regulatory Agencies. This is DORA, Department of Regulatory Agencies. DORA is appraised. So DORA was informed of the racketeering. They were sent notification. They have notification now. The tampering with the oaths are cited here in the Albany Remand, and also the state of Washington Olympus ordeal in 16 CV 5520. Judge Bryan is recused. 4th District cases are cited in the header. Now, you see, these are two of the cases that he had. These are 4th District cases here. And then this was mine. Okay, this is the one that I had filed. So District of Colorado, this isn't, so what he did was he pointed out another case against him. Okay, this is against David Merrill. And the case numbers here, right? They create all these cases. And these cases here were under an oath of a judge that didn't have an oath. So he went and made public record and recorded it right here at the county recorder. You guys see that? Okay. So it's recorded at the county recorder now of instructing the clerk that of a void judgment or order. Okay. So of what it is. Additionally, we find that racketeering spreads with spurious bills showing up in the mail. The corruption seems at times insurmountable. Now that the record is formed in the Albany Remand, there's hope that there's an end to the racketeering in sight. The Albany Remand joinder was first ignored in the 4th Judicial District and returned without mention, but a second filing has been recorded in the Register of Action. Okay. Now, here is the 4th Judicial District's notification, El Paso County Courthouse. There's a certified mail number. You guys can see R. Beckham. See that? Okay, so Robert Beckham, clerk of court. All right, they've accepted it. This is the acceptance. Okay, so here's what I sent them. I sent them a instruction to please file here, because what they did is they took what I filed and they recorded it into a different case. This is the janky stuff these people do, folks. Okay, so this was the and look at this. So I was a trustee of a resulting trust. That says it all. It's what it is. It wasn't what I was supposed to be. This was the bond that was refused for cause. This was the notary, and this is a notarial certificate. If you guys are interested, I tell you guys, get the notarial certificate and put it with your stuff. This is Elizabeth Gibbs. It just says that the state of Arizona, okay, the Department of State for state of Arizona, okay, they gave Elizabeth Gibbs arms of the state, okay? And Elizabeth and Michelle Reagan is the one that says that she gives an arm to Elizabeth Gibbs. See that? Okay. And then as that, you get this that says that, and now you have a complete record. That is equity won't aid a volunteer, right? And so equity will not perfect an imperfect gift. So these are the addresses, folks. Look at this. Registered mail number. Look at this. Registered mail number. Albany District Court. Got this one at this. All right. Blackwell bail bonds. You can look up certified mail number. They got it at this. 4th Judicial District. You can look up these numbers and see when the delivery happened. This is the 8th Judicial District. This is Stephen Mnuchin. This is Department of Regulatory Agency. See, all these things, folks, are your records. This is called equity. This is stuff that you take with you, and it doesn't go away ever, ever, never. Okay? So that's one of them. Let me go, and I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. I'm going to give you, oh, I know you guys want some, like, exciting jazz or something, right? I don't know if I have any. No, I don't have anything today. I thought I had some music, but I don't. Yeah, I could give you guys this. All right, while you wait. All right, I got to open up another screen. Boy, I have lots of windows open. You guys can relate or no? All right. Let's go to Doc. That was 39. I think that was 39. Let's go to 43. Okay, so you guys want to know, this is what got me in trouble. This is what got me sent to prison. All right. This really pissed them off. I'm telling you, this pissed them off big time. All right. So this is what got me in trouble. All right. And I'll tell you guys why, because I know why now. Excuse me 1 second. I just dropped my glasses. All right. So, this is what happened. All right. Let me guys get you a highlighter here. All right. So Doc 43 was filed on January 24th of 2019 in the Northern District of New York. Registered mail here. Okay. And this is 18 CR 315. Now, they extradited me from Colorado, or I'm sorry, I went from when I found out the oath of office issue, I completely disrespected what they were saying. Okay, like I was, you know what? Here's the deal. Like we make a contract with one another, and I think it's under one thing, and you're treating me differently, and you're lying to my face. Then we're not in the same contract. You know what I mean? And so I presumed under my own presumption because, well, no one is my dad. Okay. I don't need a daddy. I don't need anybody to like presume any dominion over me for any reason. So I was keeping track of what was happening in all this tabs on what was happening in the accounting. And the 8th Judicial District issued after I created this document for $3,250,000 against Julie Kuntz Field for a garnishment. Okay, so that's what they do to us, right? They create a garnishment, a record of a garnishment. So that's what I did. And I gave a notice of a vacant office because she didn't have an oath of office. Now, there's more to this because, well, let's get into it and I'll show you. Okay, comes now Patrick Neal of the family Marino and redeemed. Demand is made for redemption of central banking and lawful money in all transactions pursuant to 12 U.S.C. 411 and Section 16 of the Federal Reserve Act. Service to agent is service to principal, vice versa. Please file and publish this notice of vacant offices that resulted in exigent circumstances. Now, this is done under maritime jurisdiction. Okay, so if you look under maritime law, it's a extra supplemental jurisdiction in the feds, but it's not what they're doing this under. So this is why this never went anywhere. But I was hopeful. Listen, I was sitting in a cage, very hopeful. This was going to work. And the whole time I had people doing things for me that, I owe great thanks to. Some of those folks we don't see eye to eye necessarily anymore because, well, like some of them are like one guy I know that really, really, like I had so much admiration for him until when my stuff got tough, he bailed on me and I was locked up and he was in the state where I was locked up and my family wasn't there. And he said he took money from my family and wouldn't help after that. And so I was like, you know what? I don't need people like that I'm just going to give money to that are never going to help. And then go and then I see posts. This is what really just got me like, I couldn't handle it anymore. I saw posts about, how he's telling people that they need to burn the birth certificate and not worship a false god, but yet he's the one with unclean hands, not because of what happened to me, but because he created things and never took care of them. So this, under Rule B1A, under Maritime Jurisdiction Supplemental Rules of Federal Procedure, they can make a decision for garnishment, but they won't do it against their own people, and this is because it's a trust. The above garnishment amount continues to grow pending a call or visit from the Surprise, Arizona authorities assuring they will not be pursuing any of these warrants from any jurisdiction in the future. This is to say that the cause involving criminal charges from Patrick Neal past is null and void, primarily due to Julie Kuntz Fields being from the federal judiciary in her career past, knowing the oath of offices are across the board fraudulent and deviant in form. Now, you guys don't know this, but what they did is they created on a caponym. Now, as you know, the name that is on that certificate and on all of your other documents that are official, they are in a form that is of Roman style. However, in Roman letters, there's dashes or dots between the letters, not written next to each other. And the result of that meaning is symbolic, where it changes it to what's called a caponym. It is changing it to something that is diminished in value. In other words, it goes from, like, remember the balls we were talking about? I said the other day, you got this ball over here this one here is from your creator, where it's like fruits and vegetables and rivers, and you can go and make a water slide out of like a creek rock or something like that. That's just nature. And then you have like the man-made version, which is like you have maybe fiberglass water slides. Have you ever slid on a fiberglass water slide that was not wet all the way? It will burn you, burn you. You'll never forget if it happens to you because it'll leave a nice little burn for you. But I have. So, anyways, the Julie Coons Field was actually an assistant to a judge in the federal judiciary in, I believe, the state of Michigan. My research took me there. And I mean, I have nothing against any one of these people. Like, I understand they have a job to do, and I don't think that what I'm teaching people is for everyone. I think that people learn things as they, as they want to absorb them, and many people right now are affected by things, especially court cases. So when these things come up, we don't understand what's happening or why it's happening. So it never happened, though. The authorities never contacted anybody and reassured anybody of anything, okay? Because they can't. They have to fall silent, okay? Patrick further submits refusal for cause on 8th Judicial District Attorney Clifford Riddle for deviant oath and fraud. Mr. Riddle's oath is representing the 8th Judicial District Attorney, while his oath below is for office of 8th Judicial District Deputy District Attorney. So he was showing an oath for an attorney general or district attorney when he was a deputy district attorney, and the 8th Judicial District Attorney's office is vacant, okay? Additionally, listen to this, okay? 8th Judicial District Deputy District Attorney Gordon McLaughlin, the guy that prosecuted me into prison in 18 CR 315, was witnessed by the same guy that didn't have an oath of office and whose oath was for a different office, and it was from like 2005. It was seriously, that was bad. I'll show you just a second. So Ms. Fields has previously been dismissed for her deviant oath on the record, document 30. This notice is published as reference to edify the clerk of court as the nature of this garnishment. Delovio versus Boynton, 1815 Supreme Court story stands to clear evidence that any insurance contract is ruled in admiralty. And that's true at that time. It's changed. Okay, so things have changed. Fractional lending and reserve banking depend on insurance against bank runs. Okay, bank runs, you guys, if you don't know, a bank run is what was declared by FDR in 1933. So that people that went to the bank and said, hey, I'm kind of worried about whether these guys are being honest or not. I'm going to go take my money out. And when everybody started realizing that that was happening, then they could shut the banks down until everybody settled down and decided that you're not going to do that. You crazy people, why would you do that? Because we don't have enough money to cover all of you. Gosh, are you that crazy? So anyway, it is clear that the courts fraudulently portray themselves to be in the judicial and function, and the suits are clearly portrayed as judicial benches and judicial officers presiding, all in equity. Yay! Except what happened was we were going in the common law. You see, that's the problem. They are doing it in equity, and that's all that's working right now. To pick up any such cause as racketeering and collusion with misprision of treason against the constitutions, the same equity judges pretend to clearly uphold. Now, this is a misunderstanding of or misinterpretation of the Constitution at this time. And I had help putting this together, actually, because I was incarcerated, right? This is like a story that I was sending them everything, and I couldn't speak directly with the person that was helping me. I was speaking through my own father, who is very, very old now. No disrespect. So I paid a visit to the secretary. Listen to this, guys. This is crazy. I paid a visit to the Secretary of State's office on 1/11/2018. I was sent to get the oath of the Superior Court Commissioner, Barbara Spencer. Okay. Barbara Spencer was the one that heard me on an arraignment when I was picked up in Arizona. While I was in there, I had some help and I got out. And I went straight down to the clerk of court or the Secretary of State's office, where the Constitution of Arizona says that the oath of office is filed with the Secretary of State. And I went and I grabbed a copy of the Constitution, but it was after my first visit. So when I went in there, they said, oh, no, we don't have that. And they wrote on a piece of paper. I'll show you guys. It's in here. The proof is all in here. I'm going to show you the proof to everything that is stated in this document right here. I'm going to show you the proof to it when we come into like the next pages, and you're going to see exactly what happened. Okay. Any judgments, orders, decrees are null and void and the office is vacant. Marin asked Patrick return another day indefinitely. So I talked to somebody named Marin, okay, at the Secretary of State's office. She said, oh, no, you'll have to return another day. And we don't have that, okay? So she detained me on a $5,000 fugitive of justice charge, okay? That still, there is no such thing anymore. It doesn't exist, folks. It does not exist, okay? This is the registered mail number. It's on every, you see it's on every page, right? You guys see that, right? Do you see how you get a document record on every page? That's how you do it. Now they can't say it isn't what it is. Now look at this, 3 of 14. Now you have like, this is meticulous. Okay, so this is what I went and got. This is the evidence. This is what you've been waiting for. The DIRT dirt. Okay, so the public records request. This is what I went in. I brought this oath of office for Barbara Spencer, okay? And I gave them my information at the time, okay? And look, redeemed for lawful money per 12 USC 411. You see that? That's my redemption, okay? Now, I still didn't do that properly because I would do it way different now because of what I know. But you see where it says care of, okay? And last name is like their stuff is not our stuff, okay? So my last name to their is not the same. So I just gave them my name, okay? Non-commercial purposes. And this is non-commercial. Oh, you know what? I forgot to, Tito, I'm sorry, man. I appreciate you so much. I forgot to say this, and I probably should have said this before I started because we're just reviewing the truth, right?
The following program contains mature content and is the truth. No part herein is intended to be legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. Audience discretion is advised.
Okay, so let's keep moving here. The 2-page images describe authorizing attorney for Dennis Blackwell, the bondsman issuing an order, a proposed order for Julie Coonsfields to sign. Okay, so he brought an order in for her to sign saying, hey, yeah, he just gave this up. He forfeited it. Okay, so there's the case number. It says proposed order for 90-day bail forfeiture judgment. Okay, so they said that it went past that period of time, and these bonds only stay good for so long before they have to forfeit them and create new ones. And that's what they were trying to do. Order for 90-day stay of forfeiture judgment, and look at that. Just an automatic, like, ink stamp. Not a wet ink stamp, guys. Not a wet ink signature. Okay, and so... yeah, so this is being that Julie Coonsfield is not a bonded judge, that her oath is deviant, therefore, being a knowledgeable attorney, she's a fraud. It is appropriate and illegal for her to be signing dispositions regarding Patrick Neal. After refusal for cause on bondman Dennis Blackwell's $7,500 billing, Judge Fields has proceeded to threaten Patrick with extradition, admittedly knowing Patrick has no appellate remedy and therefore cannot be arraigned. Following the email correspondences showing the hostility and false reporting forgery being committed by Dennis Blackwell, attorney Janice Titus is copied. Okay, so let's read this. Let's read this to you guys. Okay. All right. So I got to go backwards in this to read it to you guys right. All right. So Mr. Blackwell. So this is what happened. This guy called my father, and my father said, "Hey, you gotta get a hold of these guys, because like any father would, right?" My father said you called. I understand you also told him I had missed court. That is incorrect. What has really happened is the bond extension you provided me in 18 CR 315 was changed by the clerk of court on 2 separate occasions. It was handwritten, and this amended the bond document. I notified your office that I did not have a bond. After that happened on both occasions, I called your office and explained the clerk altered the both bond document. I was told it was, quote, noted, end quote. I had no idea this altered my status of being bonded. Furthermore, upon investigation, both Judge Deborah Groves and Julie Field, judges in my cases, have no valid oath of office on record with the Secretary of State of Colorado. These oaths have been altered, and these administrative clerks are not even bonded to do business. I have refused for cause these oaths and copies and have obtained from the clerk of court in both cases. The Colorado Constitution is clear as to what the oaths should say. They are deviant oaths, and they are not bonded. You are well aware of the things they have done, and I'm surprised you contacted me knowing this. As a result, the agreement was nullified by the deviant oaths of both judges, Fields and Groves. You will also see that the court has since received a filing on December 7th, 2018 via certified mail tracking number where all their claims have been nullified. On December 11th, 2018, a man going before the records clerk for El Paso County was denied a copy of the filing even though it showed to be public record. There's a reason why they're denying copies. Bond fraud. I have to be honest, I'm extremely agitated that my rights have been visibly violated and laws broken. Your representative witnessed these individuals commit crimes against humanity and continued to do so as the court requested, despite it was unlawful. As I informed you of the $50,000 bond for a charge that no paperwork was filed on, no hearing for 28 days, no explanation. They didn't give me a hearing on that for 28 days, guys. I filed a counterclaim against the state actors as you as the only exception. I was deceived by the court, and I felt it was your duty to ensure my bonding was legitimate. It was fraud. It is fraud when changes are made and it is processed with misrepresentation on the part of state actors, and your representative permitted it to continue. Someone should have called the bailiff and had the clerk arrested for fraud. I had no idea I never had a bond simply because the clerk changed the case numbers before filing the document without my permission and unbeknownst to me. Again, I have no intention of pursuing legal matters with you unless further provoked with threats of my freedom and using obvious fraud. Consequently, if you have any further outstanding bill, please forward that to my father's address you have on file. I'm getting emails of all correspondence immediately upon receipt. And while I fully intend to cooperate in law, I do not consent to any proceedings whereby judges are not properly bonded. If it does not take any expert to compare these oaths to the Colorado Constitution and see they do not match in their language, thus vacating their seat per that same authority. If you have any further questions, please do so. Please do so in writing to the address you have for my father. He is handling all of my mail and will be sure that I get the correspondence. Okay? So this is the response, or this is the further continuing on this. Bar attorney Fields, pretending to be Larimer County District Court judge in chambers, forged an order of 90-day stay of bail forfeiture judgment whereby a false affidavit was completed by Surprise Police Officer Gundry, 2271. This is the officer. And I talked to him. The reason I took all this stuff down is I said, hey, you're implicating yourself in a matter that is going to be of public record, and I'm just letting you know right now. And if they keep going, you just keep doing it. You just keep doing what you do. Okay, so this is what I got. This is the probable cause statement that they wrote up. On 12/28 at approximately 21:13 hours, contact was made with Alpha Team Bail Enforcement. Okay, this is they hired a bounty hunter to come get me. Okay, and agent's name is N. Pellegrino. Okay, who had Patrick Marino detained for his 2 extraditable warrants out of Larimer, Colorado, and El Paso, Colorado. Okay, now this is important that it says this and this. Okay, because upon a once warrant check, Patrick also had a confirmed active warrant out of North Valley Justice Court. Now, this was in, mind you, this date right here, 2018. You guys see this, right? 2018. They said this from this date. Do you see this date? 2003. Okay. They said that I had a charge in a court with this case number that doesn't exist. And they said it was a DUI charge. It doesn't exist. On 11/23/2003, it doesn't exist, and it never did. And I had to go in front of those people twice and tell them the same thing before I was extradited. So Larimer County, Colorado, and El Paso, Colorado agencies were unable to provide copies of their active warrants. They don't have any. They didn't have any. They were unable to provide. They didn't have them. Okay? They didn't have these things, okay? I was booked on a confirmed arrest warrant on this from 2003. From 2003. You see this, guys? I hope you guys can see that. Right here, 2003. This is where I'm looking, right here. Out to the side there. If you follow this in, 2003, okay? That's crazy, all right? That does not happen. And it was $1,000. That's what they're saying. I owed them $1,000, the bond amount. Okay, so Surprise Police Department Gundry met with the bail bond agents, and based upon forged documents by Attorney Fields, Patrick was arrested and booked into Phoenix 4th Avenue Jail on December 29th, 2018. Moving on, this was my property tag, okay? This is the property tag. Now, notice the surety name. See that? Marino, Patrick Neal, that's the surety. That's the surety they have, and this is the booking number. Okay. Patrick's unlawful detainment was reported to Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. No less than 10 times. All requests were denied. Guys, this is where it really gets amazing because you're going to see some cool equity come out of this. On January 6, 2018, Patrick sent inmate request forms. Now, at this point in time, guys, I was privy to what was happening. Okay. I knew that this was a contract, and I knew that under Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, we had the unlimited ability to go and contract anything we wanted to. So what I did was I went and I made up a contract, and I knew that if they didn't respond, then, well, they just accepted whatever I put on the paper. So I'll show you what I wrote here in just a second. And this is what it says. On January 6th, Patrick sent a request form advising his cost for unlawful detainment was $250,000 per day in lawful money per 12 U.S.C. 411. So it's redemption. These charges were endorsed by MCSO detention officer on January 6th at 1300 hours and later by Inmate Legal Services on January 17th, 2019. The billing instrument was returned to Patrick January 10th, 2019, indicating the request was forwarded to an unknown entity, and they made up this BS name called the extradition unit. They're like, yeah, we're going to send this to our extradition unit. And I had people calling their place, and there's no such thing as an extradition unit. It doesn't exist. They made this stuff up as they're going along. They're like, just make up something, seriously. And we were on top of this stuff as fast as they could make it up, folks. This is no joke, okay? So now you're going to see the pretty magical thing, okay? I think it's magical. This is the inmate request form that I filled out, okay? It was January 6, 2019. Now, they put me in a box with a guy that was getting ready to go to federal prison, and he was arrested he was riding a bike, and, like, they caught him, and he had something on him that was illegal, okay? So Inmate Legal Services, ILS, this is in Maricopa County. They received it on January the 7th, okay? And then returned it on January the 10th to me. These are important, too. These are going to be important dates in a second, all right? So, Patrick, and I put the name here, okay? This is the name that they had. This is where I was, cell 34, house 2D1 on 4th Avenue Jail. This is my booking number, and this was hearsay, okay? So they put date of birth. I said, that's hearsay. You guys, no one, like, because they create a piece of paper, no one is going to tell you when you're born. They can't tell you. And you can't testify. Like, you were there, but do you really remember? How do you don't have that memorialized. There's no way to tell. So that's hearsay. Your birth date is hearsay. So when people ask you, I can give you the date of birth of what you created. Okay, so here is the request, okay? I'm going to zoom in this in a little bit. I need a copy of the magic document or documents, okay? Here's the magic document or documents that grant Arizona permission to continue to unlawfully detain me. My costs to continue to be unlawfully detained, or I'm sorry, hang on just a second. I got to go back. I wish you guys could see my my cursor. I wish I could do that. I don't have any way I can show you the cursor, though. I can only show you the highlighting. So it says, I need the copy of the magic document or documents that grant Arizona permission to continue to unlawfully detain me. My costs, no, I'm sorry. What is that? I forgot. I can't even see. I forgot what I wrote. Let me move over here. My Colorado judges, that's what it says. My Colorado, quote, judges are both recused in a court of record federal case 18 MC7 right here in Merrill. Every day I am unlawfully detained, my costs are $250,000 per day. Either produce paperwork to keep me here or release me. Okay? They didn't do either. Okay? So this is the key right here. See this? This is the key. 1,300 hours and whoever that is. Mr. Marino, your request for paperwork or release is not available through or ILS. ILS has forwarded your request to the extradition unit for your query. You believe that? The extradition unit. Somebody made that up and printed that out, and it doesn't even exist. And I had people call to verify it doesn't exist. Okay. This true bill is being executed $250,000 per day of imposed acting held to perform as defendant from the day of billing. In other words, you want me to play role of a defendant? Then here's my fees. And that was from January 6th of 2019 to current day registered mail, January 18th, 2019, and still growing fees daily. The city of Surprise, namely the local police, must contact Patrick Neal or through his father, Francisco, signing the bond forms and inform them both that there will be no further arrest and detainment actions from the past alleged criminal accusations formed from any of this in any state. 13 days times 250,000 equals $3,250,000 in U.S. dollars lawful money. This is the stuff. Now, this is what I mentioned to you guys that Kavanaugh was, because Kavanaugh was getting copies of this stuff. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit later where the oath comes into play on this too. Oh my gosh, we're already an hour into this. I'm going to keep moving through this, and I'll just keep going until I'm like pooped. Because I'm not far, believe me. So, okay, so let's go, and I'm going to review the oaths of office with you guys. This is pretty cool. So this is what people don't see every day. You don't get to see this. So I want you to look. This oath of office, okay, was given to me on, oh, you know what? You can't see the date. But let's just say January 24th, 2019, it was given to me in like around that time, okay? Look at this date that it was received by the Secretary of State in the upper left-hand corner. You guys see that? Received up here? You see that? Where I'm moving, okay? So it says received right there, all right? January 14th, 2005, okay? This date right here is important because it says that they have to renew this thing every once in a while, and it's not like, well, 16 years, okay? So notice that Clifford E. Riedel is the assistant district attorney, right? You guys see that? Okay, let's go down to the other oath of office where he witnessed. Clifford Riedel, district attorney. Okay, this is McLaughlin. Riedel was signing McLaughlin's oath as a witness, and Riedel had an oath that said he was office of assistant district attorney when he's signing other things as a witness as the district attorney. You can't do that, folks. You can't be a governor and sign stuff as the Secretary of State. You just can't do it. You can't do it. So it was refused for cause, and he was the district attorney. You see this? District attorney. Clifford Riedel, district attorney. Clifford Riedel, district attorney. But Clifford Riedel's oath says assistant district attorney. And it's from 2005. What in the world? I literally, from my cell, folks, from my cell, I had these people come in and they were trying to serve me with discovery. Okay. They were trying to serve, like they were trying to call them, what were they calling them? They were calling them advisory council. Oh yeah, advisory council. Yeah, I need your advice on how to get to prison. Can you give me some advice? Or could you just sign something for me like it's me? Oh, of course. Yeah, of course I can accommodate that. Oh, thanks. Appreciate you. Much love to you. You sit in rooms with these folks, and I'm not angry. But I just find it despicable because I literally had conversations with this other that I thought was a human being. And this human being that I thought was a human being had a 4-year-old kid like mine, except I was locked in a cage. And like I shed tears to this person thinking that this person was really like had my interest in mind. And I'm like, you know, because you don't have anybody to talk to, folks. This is like Roman stuff when they stick you in cages and they make you submit, if you will. They treat you like crap until, you know, it's not like, it's like a slow treating like crap. It's like you're not going to notice you're treated like crap until you don't have any health and you don't have any of what you need. Okay. That's what it is. Okay. So this is done on the 11th day of 2005. All right, for the wrong office. So therefore, it made this oath of office of the guy that was prosecuting me, who now, I don't even know, I'd have to look it up, but I believe maybe even now this guy could be Gordon McLaughlin was the district attorney now. He got promoted to district attorney. His oath was no good when he prosecuted me. And I sent him notice very recently about the cases, what I was doing with the cases. And so this is a witness. Another one, Stephen Howard, he doesn't have an oath of office either. Okay, so his witness to Gordon McLaughlin's oath of office is no good, the same. And not only that, but let's see here. There was another thing. Maybe I don't have this in here. Anyways, you guys, I'm not going to I don't want to keep going because I've got other things that I want to go over with you guys, and we're actually at the end of the hour. So I want to keep sharing this stuff with you, and I will keep sharing it with you, but we'll just move on to the other set of documents as we meet tomorrow. And I'll keep going over. There's a lot more stuff in the Kavanaugh stuff. Listen, I spent probably 5 hours this morning trying to figure out, because I can't get some of this stuff to be read on the PDFs for some reason. I don't know if it's like flagged for some language or if it's just because it's a court case or what, but I cannot get the text extracted from this stuff in any way. Like, it just is not working right. So, and the way I do get it, it's so like I have so many pages to do, it just takes a long time. So I can't do it anyway. So I'm going to have to do it kind of the way we're doing it, but it's all good. We'll just keep going over this. And you guys, if you have any questions or comments, I appreciate all of them. If you would like and subscribe to the video, I appreciate that very much. And you guys have an amazing day. I send you much love and energy, and I will talk to you soon.